sex isn't about sex. Sex is about longing for spirit and merging with the divine. Getting lost in sex is staying present to the potential of having divine, holy connection. You need to find the shape of love that is your heart, your truth, your essence. There's no shoulds in love. There's no right or wrong. It's about finding your essence of where your heart can rest.
Welcome to today's episode of Universal Intimacy. I am overjoyed, thrilled, and ecstatic to be joined by my next guest, who I feel needs no introduction, but I really want to pay homage to her greatness and the depth of her body of work. I'm joined today by Dawn Cherie. She is one of the original establishers of ISTA, the International School of Temple Arts, a sacred mystery school that fuses shamanism with sacred sexuality and has been a path of transformational healing, up-leveling, and guiding folks onto a path of deepening their connection with God, body, and the self. She has guided these phenomenal containers across the globe as a lead facilitator and also created an offshoot of ISTA known as STARS, which is a troupe of theatrical, ritual-based work that really brings together the sacred and the erotic. Dawn trained in acting, performing. She's an artist. She's a muse. She worked in theater and dance, studying 5 rhythms. She's been on the priestess path forever. She worked with Gloria Maddox, as well as David Data, as well as so many phenomenal other guides, including Lakota medicine workers and more. I could go on with her bio because Dawn has really spanned the globe and transcended the cosmos in the ways that she has been guided to deepen in her own path of understanding self and humanity better. She's truly someone who leads with her heart in guiding women, individuals, and couples back into love and through love. And I am really touched to call her a mentor, a guide, a muse, a friend, a sister, and a fellow collaborator on a multitude of levels. It brings so much emotion into my entire body to be sitting here with you today as an icon in the industry that I work in. So thank you so much, Dawn, for being my guest. As I mentioned, I'm like filled with emotion, and it's just really an honor to be sitting with you today.
Thank you. Yeah. As the feminine, we kind of flower when we're seen, and I feel flowering at the moment to be seen by you. And there's a beautiful holding that you have for the feminine and the sacred. And I feel you're reaching out and leaning in to kind of draw out. And it's a beautiful gift of you. It's a joy to know you.
Yeah.
And I'm delighted. I've been here in Chicago for the last few days and feeling a bit of your bubble and excitement about what you do and your passion. I'm impressed with your professionality. I'm impressed with you taking something that is meaningful for you and really bringing it out into the world in the way you do. So thank you for bringing me here.
Wow.
I'm like very excited.
Yeah. Wow. I'm so touched. Because, we actively choose and seek out mentors. At least I have in my life as a lifelong learner, right? And I've always been one to kind of follow this path and find individuals that I resonate with that are ahead of me, right? Ahead of me in the journey. And you are in so many ways. And, I really want to start with honoring what you birthed. I don't even know how many years ago that we know now as ISTA, if you're open to starting there, just because so many of my guests on this podcast have been ISTA participants, and I work with so many facilitators that you lead and guide, and I know you've literally guided hundreds of thousands of humans through the transformational curriculum that ISTA laid out. And as an original establisher of that, I would love for you to speak into that body of work.
Yeah, and what an incredible honor it's been to see people transform, to see people have these meaningful experiences over and over and over again. And I sit on the couch and I see people from the opening circle to closing, and I always say, let's take a picture from first day to the end, because something flowers within them, something touches into some primal memory of who they could be without the blocks, without the conditioning. So without the societal constraints. And one of the things I see,
Yeah, it's powerful work.
it's powerful work, and so Easter found me. Easter found me, and actually, it's a funny story. I was living, let's say, the Middle East, that controversial hotbed of a place right now, and I was asked at the Spirit Film Festival to speak in front of a movie called Sex Magic.
Okay.
Baba Des, and controversial, beautiful initiator of ISTA. And he was in Sedona, and he said, I have this kind of body of work. Would you like to come do it? So first, Sex Magic came on in the mail, and we
like
were
it was
asked,
on a VHS.
yeah, something like. I think it was.
Yeah. Some of the younger listeners don't even know what VHS is, so we can laugh.
And so we got. I was living with my partner Ohad, and we were asked to speak on sex magic and polyamory, because I've been in a 23-year committed polyamorous relationship. And so we said, well, we don't know the guy, but it seems like a great movie. And so 600 people come flooding into this, filming, screening, and we talk about this. And then 3 months later, there was a teacher, Kenneth Ray Stubbs, who was a male gay massage practitioner, really a forerunner, did a lot of, what would I say it? It's magic and embodied wisdom. And he doused our site. Kenneth Ray Stubbs, I wrote to him because we had a publishing company in Israel, and it was the question of, hey, we're coming to America. Would you like to host us in our community? Kenneth Ray doused our site and said, these are good people. Talk to Des and the Sedona community and said, invite them to your conference.
Yeah.
And so within 6 months, we were in this kind of film of the community in Sedona. And we met the community in the sex consciousness conference there. And we met, Triambakan. We met, oh goodness, these are the early people who are in there. Well, Kamala Devi and I think Charles Muir was there, and I think Mantak Chia was there on that week. I don't know if Deborah Anapol was there.
Wow.
And we just said, we're home. We're home.
Yeah.
This is our community.
Yeah.
And they felt the same about us, and we stayed for, a couple weeks. And then Des reached over at an event and said, hey, would you like to bring it to your community? And I said, sure.
Right.
And at that time, it was such a revelation to do it there, because it's a very small
in Israel
community.
You're referring. That's where Tell us about Israel and what was happening at that time. And, and what you were birthing.
I'm grateful that I was there at the time, and I'm grateful that I was there in the moments before all the craziness of what's happening now. But there at the time, it's religious. It's a religious community, and then there was kind of swingers and kind of kinksters.
Okay.
But the two shall never meet. There was we were teaching at Tantra festivals in the beginning, and everyone was clothed, and everyone, there was no hands-on kind of work happening. So when we first brought the practitioner, it was still a practitioner training. It hadn't become, the expansion of the work that it is now. It was like pulling teeth. It was like, really like having to bring this work that people didn't get. And then when people got it, they were like, we know it. We're experts, So, and it mushroomed out. It was like, it became, really the most popular thing. And quite frankly, it grew so fast and so quickly that it almost overtook us, and so we became a forerunner in conscious communication, boundary work, how to bring more sexuality to people in a way that they had never really done on that level.
Sure.
I remember our first play party that Kamala Devi did, and there was a festival that we produced in Jerusalem, and she did an hour and a half boundary talk. And I just said, it's happening. It's happening. People are getting communication skills.
Yeah.
People are going for it.
Yeah.
And from there, it just ballooned out.
Yeah, it's interesting that you're talking about the fusion of spirituality and sexuality, and really are bringing in the conscious communication piece and the importance of consent and boundaries. And I'm curious because from my lens, I always felt as though that was like an Americanization, like America's response to the work. I had this
Interesting.
I had a perception that in Europe, it's more this like nonverbal somatic attunement, and maybe it is now and maybe it just wasn't then. And so it's interesting to hear that like even back then, there was this necessity for the structure of the boundaries and consent. And it's interesting because when people think about whatever people think of when they think of Tantra, right? Or like even you mentioned play parties, it's like, the average human's mind wouldn't naturally then next go to boundaries and consent. So like kind of close that gap for our listeners. You can.
Imagine you have a playing field like this. And this is what and you then expand it to this. If you know that you only have a small, narrow parameter to play in, you'll play in that, and that'll be safe and a little boring maybe. But if you know you can actually play to this and you've claimed this space, but you can't go out there, you have so much more space to explore. So people think that either I don't say any boundaries, and then you're guessing, and you're wondering, can I touch you here? Can I touch you there? Can I touch you there? And you're not present to the essential connection that you can have with someone. Then you lose the possibility of depth, of true intimacy and meaning. So a lot of people say, well, I don't want boundaries. I don't need them. They block the flow. They block the true intimacy. They block what's natural between us. But conversely, if you actually say, I'm a yes to this, I'm a yes to this, and I'm a no to this, then you're free to partake in life. You're not wondering, oh, did this person mean I shouldn't touch here? Have we talked about safer sex? Have we talked about, shall we use a condom or not? Can they get pregnant?
Yeah.
Do they have a partner? Should I know anything? Boundaries create more possibilities than less. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. I love that. And I feel this desire to bring it back into the heart, because I also feel that this field, this body of work that we are referencing and dancing around is misinterpreted, and there's a lot of distortion and projection. And I think often when we talk about expansion, people automatically assume that we're referring to, oh, I'm used to monogamy and having one partner, and then I want this big expansion, and the expansion equals more partners. And that's not what we're referring to. I feel at the core of the work, we're talking about an expansion of the heart. So I would love to hear your transmission on, like, what does it mean to do this work and expand the capacity of one's heart?
You need to find the shape of love that is your heart, your truth, your essence. There's no shoulds in love. There's no right or wrong. It's about finding your essence of where your heart can rest. Are you going to love, or are you contracting in fear?
Yeah.
If you want to expand out and it feels good consensually for both people, and you can, in the beautiful world, ride together in that expansive journey, then that's a beautiful thing. I've coached so many couples, and I've said, monogamy, beautiful. I really feel that you are two devoted monogamous people.
Yeah.
And I bless you. So I don't want people to think that I'm pro anything. I'm pro truth. I'm pro, are you moving towards love, or are you contracting from fear?
Yeah.
And so if you're saying, oh, I wouldn't try open relating because I'm afraid of what happens, that's not why we're here. That's not why we're here in life. We're not here to hide in relationships. We're not here to collapse into and let that be only our, of course it's a safe haven, but it's not a place to hide.
Yeah.
It's a place to expand, a place to grow, a place to be on our edge sometimes, where it's scary as all get out.
Yeah.
And it's a place to be. If you think of, this is your comfort zone, and this is your growth zone, and this is your trauma zone, you don't want to be there. If you get there and you hang out there, and you are spending so much of your precious life force there, then you've done something wrong, and it's going to probably break and blame and all of this, the things. But if you spend time resourcing in your comfort zone, and you go back to it, and you dance on that edge of growth, then you're in a good place. You're in a good place.
Yeah. I want to talk about edging and the edge in the way that we know. Because again, the work applies to everything, right? I'm thinking even of the container we've been in for the past few days, and really like riding that edge of one's individual capacity to hold, to feel fully resourced, to understand the amount of sleep one needs in order to show up and effectively facilitate or lead, the amount of technological support. Do you need somebody to, have the Zoom set up for you? So like, to me, I think a lot of times people see this work as like, oh, this is to help my intimacy in terms of my romantic relationships, my sex, my love. And it's like, I see the work as extending into the totality of who we are as humans on this planet, and how we choose to be of service as businessmen, as accountants, as lawyers, as garbage truck drivers, in the sense of like, when we intentionally put ourselves into these immersive spaces where we're held by a guide such as yourself to create a field that is safe and sacred, but also bold and brave, to bring us to our edge, to say, you may think that you need a certain diet and a shower every day and these many hours of sleep, and I'm going to push your limits in the physical, mental, and emotional, so that you can then stretch your capacity to hold more.
We are more capable than we think we are. We are more expansive than sometimes we are when we're in our room curled up on with a blanket watching, our shows, and if no one pushed us out of bed, we might stay there until until the end of days, and then I see this when people go into these growth containers, and they come, with a readiness. You have to have a certain amount of I'm ready to how would I say it, to meet another part of me that hasn't I haven't met yet.
Sure.
So when you allow yourself to get out of your comfort zone, but follow your own guidance. I never, ever want someone to lose their own sovereignty, their own ability to know what's right for them. I will never say, I know what's right for you, because I have never walked in your shoes. I don't know. I will encourage you. I will be the biggest cheerleader. And I don't want you to override your own boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that you're presencing this, and this is, the artistry of the work, and obviously a trained practitioner and professional such as yourself, because for me, for example, I'll speak, I used to kind of have this mantra of like, I'm here to activate. I used to say, I'm here to activate, illuminate, and inspire. And I actually led with this activating, pulsating energy. I mean, you can feel it. I still have it. But I started to realize as I was stepping into group containers and facilitating that, like there's something in that activation frequency that could be too much, right? Or, if I'm not attuned to the coherence of the individuals in the field, then I'm not like calibrating their nervous systems effectively, and I'm not like titrating the experience. And then that's when you can activate, AKA trigger someone and activate a trauma response.
Yeah.
And what I find fascinating now, I'm going to start to take this a little intimate, like, we were just in a field the past few days where even though we're all professionals, we've done this work, people get activated and they go into trauma response.
It's okay to respond, but when you react from your wound, you're not present to the beauty and the gifts of the moment. And we are human and we get triggered. And what we need to do is track when the triggers, when when it starts to happen, and recalibrate before we get to burnout, before we get to explosion, before we get to blame, before our limbic system, our amygdala is firing warning, 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 danger, danger, because that's what's happening. And your amygdala gets hyperactivated and you lose touch with what's happening presently. Right. And whenever it becomes hysterical, it's historical. This feeling that I am not seeing what's right here in front of me. And we go to this hypervigilance, and it's a safety mechanism. It's an inherent, I need to protect. And of course, that's there for a reason. But if we've gotten to explosion and reactivity, then the game in some ways. And sometimes it's, hey, you pay a high price. You lose friends. You lose trust. You've lost presence.
Thank you for that. Yeah, and weaving in some of the science. I appreciate that fully. And and the consequences, like you iterated, are the burning of the bridges, the the bumps in the road related to how we're relating to each other. And I know both of us are here on this planet to help cultivate intimacy with self, with others, and the totality of all that is. But it's that piece of like with others that I find so fascinating right now that humans are struggling with. And I'm curious what you're seeing in the field and the body of work of like, what's preventing us from being able to cultivate the depth of the relationships we desire?
Yeah, I'm still a bit with this question that we spoke of before, of around this kind of victim consciousness. So I'll cultivating relationships, but I'd love to revisit that because I feel alive with that in this moment. Where would you like me to head?
Yes, speak about victim consciousness, because I think some framing and understanding what that is for the listeners and followers would be helpful. I think that word is being potentially overused, and to the same extent of like red flag or mansplain, or there's these terms that are colloquialisms that we use, but what do we really mean? And I would love to hear your definition of what is victim consciousness.
It's
or victim mindset.
And there are true victims in the world. There are victims of crimes. There are victims of situations where some incident happened that was beyond the control of the person. What I'm speaking more is a victim mindset and a mentality that when that exists, it's a state of being, and it's more than just how do I respond to the moment. It's still in this. You're in a mentality of this, and so you're looking at selecting the people that will support your reality, because humans like to be right. I mean, so we will unconsciously prove our story again and again and again and again. So until we get out of that victim consciousness, until we get out of taking, and I'll say it, it's been a hotbed of controversy in my world of detractors, 100% responsibility for the nature of my experience and not for my experience. This is the key out. Bad things will happen to you. We hope that they never, ever do. And in Easter, we want to create containers that can support the sovereignty and the boundaries and the deep knowing of what you need. But things will happen from, you'll have a snoring neighbor or, and it's like, why does this always happen to me? It's always that, why does this always happen? If you have said that, you are in
victim mindset. Yeah. I also like to say, exactly. Individuals that are in victim consciousness or victim mindset will start a sentence of like, something happened to me, right? It's this is happening to me instead of this is happening by me, through me, for me.
For me. Pronoia. I love this. There's this term of pronoia rather than paranoia. Rob Bresney, he's a great writer, astrologist, and he wrote a book on pronoia. How is the world conspiring for your greatness?
Yes, for our greatest good.
Yes,
for our greatest pleasure. Yes. Yeah, and to track, just going back to kind of relationships, and I think this is the thread of why humans are struggling with relationships is if you're in victim mindset and you're not in creator creatrix mindset, you're not in the conscious awareness that you have control of who is in your field and who you are allowing access to your field via who you're connecting with and collaborating with and playing with and doing business with and all those things. So anytime like I feel that, and this, we've been journeying through this for the past, since I've known you, of like, what's going on here? And then it's very quick in the human conditioning. And you didn't say this, but I'm going to say it to sort of like point or like project outside of self of like, oh, look at this person over here. And this is what this person is doing. And this is how I'm now feeling in response to this other soul. Right. And very quickly we can be like, okay, like I'm always like, okay, what's here for me? Like, where is there the mirror, right? And what is this showing me? And then how is this informing how I'm going to move through life, right? What is this informing me in terms of what boundaries do I need to create? Do I want to continue to be in the field with this person or play with them or, or not? And I think there's this piece of human relating right now where some folks are trained / practiced in this body of work. I keep saying this word, this body of work. And then there are some that aren't.
Yeah.
And then there's tension in that of like the folks that are and the folks that aren't. How do we navigate that?
Well, we in Easter we were pioneers, and now it's more in the common mainstream. And in relationships, I always knew I wanted to be at my edge and explore something other than the monogamous model where they blamed and they fought and they were like, how would I say it? Just like almost hostages to each other's wounding and would stay in this kind of relationship and blame. And of course, I acknowledge that there are beautiful, happy, successful, monogamous couples. But for me, very early on, I wanted something different. I knew that relationships were a path of spiritual growth. That if I'm going to spend so much time in relating, then, and I am a spiritual being, like looking at sacredness and all of life, then I need to find a partner who meets me in this.
Yeah.
And so I put myself always on the edge, always on the edge, always on the edge of growth, of how can I learn from my relationships? What are my abandonment wounds? What are my fears? What are my hurts? And how can I grow in this? I mean, that's what we are in relationships.
Yeah.
It's the deepest container we can ever have of
I love that.
learning.
Yeah.
And yet you have to find the relationships that are right for you and not be pressured and not be pushed into anything. And I see so many couples working on open relating when one person wants that and another person doesn't.
Right.
And, date your species. Don't spend time trying to fit a circle into a square. It's not. It's going to cause suffering for you, for your friends, for the planet, for.
Yeah.
Spend your life force in containers that work. And if it's not working for you, if a spiritual, sexual, shamanic experience isn't right, then say thank you, and this isn't right for me. And sure, by all means, give feedback. Let your voice be heard. Your voice is valid. And let it resound in the other person, if it's a relationship or in the organism, and move on with your precious life.
Yeah. Life is precious.
Is precious.
You mentioned sacredness. Yeah, and I would love to talk about the sacred.
Yeah.
And what the sacred means now. To you, to us.
Yeah,
why
sacred.
It's more important than ever to be not just talking about it, but practicing and being devoted to curating sacred experiences for others. Yeah.
I wake up and I thank Spirit for giving me another day of life. I breathe it in. That's my first breath. Thank you, God, Goddess, Spirit, Creatrix, for giving me another day of life. Thank you for letting me come out alive from my slumber, from my mini death of liminal dream space, to be Dawn for another life, for another day. Like, how do I want to exist in this world? And I scan my day, I scan my room. What am I grateful for? Why am I here? Thank you. How am I feeling? And put an intention into the day. And then I meet the day, and my trainings are infused with gratitude and sacredness, and it's part of who I am as a being. I mean, I moved to Israel. Some people say Israel, Palestine, this place where I felt, there's a pain in my heart every time I say this, because I know there's viewers that are contracted about this. And I want to speak to the purity of the ancients, the Hebraic culture that existed before the destruction, and that before religion created so much hurt. I want to speak to spirituality, to the pureness of knowing the wisdom of what existed in that land. And when pre-rabbinical time, when there were great temples there was a temple for Astarte, for the goddess, that existed for 300 years. And that was inherent, that was known in the land. And before the fear contracted us and brought us into the gifts of monotheism, but also the fear and the co-opting of the wild, of the sacred, of the feminine wisdom. So when I'm speaking of this sacred land, I'm speaking of something very ancient and very tribal and very connected, and listening to the sacredness.
Yeah, I'm moved, as you can see. I'm not of Jewish descent. I even did like 23andMe to be like, are you sure I'm not a little? I'm like, sure I'm not a little. Yeah, and yet, I'm going to use this phrase, and it means more than anything related to geopolitics, but like to know that our holy lands are not being protected and preserved and held as sacred, and it's not just that holy land, it's all the holy spaces on this planet, including that connection with the natural earth, our sacred waters. I don't know, you share deeply in your shamanic lineage and your study in the fields of ecology, of like that we are not living in right relationship to this earth. And yeah, and for me, I do feel as though our connection to the sacred is a bridge between, the earth and the celestial. I think a lot of people, they get into spirituality to go up, to transcend the body, to be connected to this higher power without going down and into the earth.
Yeah.
And as we know, the feminine, right? And so yeah, the other piece that's on my heart is the distortion of the sacred, and how it's getting, again, when we say distorted, it's like this twisting that's happening in the world of either using it as a marketing tool or just a misrepresentation or misalignment, and it's really hurtful to the heart and my soul on a soul level when I feel like I'm in fields with people that really don't understand the sacred.
If you haven't tasted it, if you haven't known it, there's mistrust. And it's not about a punishing God. And religion has been kind of co-opted again. It's been overtaken by fear. So people don't have a reference point for sacredness. They don't often find it in church and synagogues, and they don't find it in the world they live in, so they reject religion. And what's sacred then and what's ritualistic is only something that they sometimes know or have rejected. And sacredness is implicit in the breath, the fact that we exist and that we're not separate from some greater mystery. That, of course, evolution happened, but there is a mystery that this human is in existence, that we are really a wonder, And so not to take life for granted, and that's why I pray before I eat. That's why I acknowledge that this life is a gift. That I pray before sex. I pray before a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to steal. I don't want to feel like I'm robbing something. Thank you that I have this here.
Right.
Thank you that I have this, and not take it for granted. And so sacredness is subtle. Sacredness is presence. Sacredness is awareness. Sacredness is this quality of the ineffable, but it's the quality of that I'm in right relation with the universe and the gifts that are given to me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be a whole long, drawn out. It can simply, ceremony or ritual. It can be, thank you for this moment. Thank you for my breath. Thank you for the life that I'm given. Thank you. May this day be a blessing. May I meet it with the sanctity and the sacredness that it is.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Or thank you for this life. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Part of me has a desire to go back to the prayer, the part that you said.
Oh, okay.
In what language was it? It was
Hebrew.
It was in Hebrew. That's what I thought. Okay. But there's this also desire to pull another thread through. So, but I would love for you to slow that down because you said it very quickly.
Oh, okay.
And it felt special.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Moda ani is the reflective. I am thanking ani, me, and it can be in feminine or masculine. Moda ani or moda ani, lefanecha melechai, or ruachai. I am melechai vikayam. I am thank you, God, Goddess, Spirit, for giving me another day of life. That Modani lefanecha melech is God.
Yeah.
God is Spirit. Vikayam shechazarta bi nishmati vechemla rabba amunatecha. It's may I live with compassion and I'll just paraphrase it, grace.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And I feel like this is like your anti-aging secret.
You're so sweet.
Like this is like, right? Like your vitality and
Aw.
vivaciousness. And I know like you should never ask a woman her age. But I feel like, we're both older, related to society. And I was just feeling into this like cheat code. People like to talk about cheat codes, like, and people think the cheat codes to anti-aging are right now peptides and maybe Botox. I don't know.
Sure,
Right. And like, what if the cheat code is Tantra and prayer?
What if the cheat codes are prayer and Tantra? And I'm happy to say that I just turned 60 and yes. And there's some vitality around that. I felt like when I was in my 50s, I was old young, and now I'm young older. And there's a renewal that I feel like proud to say it. And when I was in my 50s, I was, oh yeah, well, I'm in my 50s, and and it was this feeling of like, now in 2020, I said, what's under, what's here? And actually, when I let everything, I'm blessed with this beautiful silver hair, which my grandmother had. And I always looked at her and I said, one day I'm going to do that when I'm 70. And when I embraced my aging, it just was some resonant from the field that, yes, we need you. Thank you. We don't have healthy mentors of healthy sexuality.
We need you. Thank you. This is coming from me personally.
Yeah.
Yes, we need you. Thank you.
Yeah.
We women in my field of work, but also we, the collective, need to see models of women in their like wise woman era. Like we're not in the tribal culture where we're sitting in circle cross-generationally with women that have gone before us and can share wisdom. And like somehow throughout the history of humanity in this planet, throughout modernity, the voice of the wise woman has been silenced or eradicated or like just eliminated.
Yeah.
And we are not okay with that anymore. And this is the rise of women talking about perimenopause and menopause. Finally, my generation is the first. Women are writing books. Women are questioning Western medicine. And they're saying this is not okay, that all the medical research has only been done on men.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Thank you for doing that as well. And the feeling of I'm somehow always a pioneer in this time. So before I started bleeding, no one talked about menstruation. No one talked about bleeding. And now I see here's my period pants on social media. And,
here's the blood on my face.
This is blood on your face is common now. I know that's probably still radical for some people. And
I think Kim Kardashian did it. She did a menstrual blood mask.
Wow.
So it's mainstream.
Wow. Okay, got it.
Kim Kardashian put menstrual blood on her face.
So that, and when it happened, when I was bleeding, I was all about my blood, here's my blood. Let's bring a cup of blood. And then this kind of menopause, one of my friends and teachers, ecstatic menopause. She coined this, it's like, how do we bring in this wisdom? And it's so as I know it, it's bringing this roots of the blood, of the earth, of the origins of where we came from in many ways. We're all stardust, but, and bringing it up through the heart, through the throat chakra. Let me speak now because I'm not holding, but it's now bringing us into a way of relating through consciousness and downloading. It's like I'm bridging heaven and earth. I'm not needing to. I'm not here to make babies. I'm not here to procreate anymore, but I'm here to download the wisdom and listen to me, because I have come from the depth of pain and loss and hurt and heartbreaks and caring for elderly parents, and all of this has made me who I am, and I am still here, vibrating and alive,
Yes! Shining and oozing and undulating and unfurling. Yes.
So listen to me, make love to me. A lot of foreplay. Yes, we need foreplay at every age. We need a lot of foreplay at every age. But as we age, we need foreplay and feeling and watering and I truly feel that the shininess comes from the vitality of having truly lived. Yeah. It's not about collapsing in and and doing, do take care of yourself, get facials, take care of yourself.
Sure.
Please do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's part
You
of
need more
honoring the sacred
self-care.
body temple, right?
Exactly.
Carving out intentional time to,
Take
anoint the
care.
body. And
Get
you have
rest.
beautiful, soft skin, by the
I
way.
am blessed.
Can I share with the listeners? I'm like, we
I'm
had a
blessed.
beautiful moment this morning, naked in my kitchen, like, holding each other, and I was like, "Gosh, Dawn's skin feels amazing." And then I'm like, "What's her secret?" It's like you said,
Genetics.
living a life, living a life that you love.
Yes, living a life.
No, you can. You're referencing this like collapse that a lot of humans do of like living in fear. And it's interesting because as you're talking about it, I can see it. You can actually start to see it in the body and the face and sort of the droopiness of the face and the jaw and the wrinkles and just how the face starts to hold itself when a human hasn't learned. I want to go like emotional release or tools or, just how to allow. I think I would say one of my secrets or a tip to share with anyone are like emotional release tools and also somatic practices in which you're allowing energy to move, like emotions to move through you. As you can see, I just like cried on my own podcast because I'm comfortable allowing my emotions to be energy in motion and just move through me and wash over me. So I don't really hold on to anything.
No.
I'm like, right? I'm like, I'm just going to allow it to all show up and move through me. And yes, I have to like know where I'm at and be coherent to the field. But it's like, it's living a life you love. And it's also like, there are some practices. So yeah, share with us any other tips of like
emotional yoga. What were you saying?
Yeah, what tips could you share with listeners who to just how are we living a life we love? And I know you talked about kind of edging and growth and expansion, but like what else could folks be doing to kind of
emotional yoga, moving your body not only to the gym but the emotional, clearing the energy body to get current so that you don't explode and blame and hurt and spill out unnecessarily. But also for me, I feel one of the biggest things when 2020 and a few years before when that happened, aside from 2020, being a personal relief for me and so many people, because we were rushing so fast and racing through the world. When it happened, I felt grateful to kind of catch up with life and catch up with the racing. But what happened to me personally was that I went through the portal of caretaking and then later the portal of death and transition through my mom. And so for me, I felt the gift of giving fully to the process. I think the only way out is through, and to hold your composure, and it's like to perform like something in an unnecessary way. Like I let everything go in my life, and I said, I'm going on a caretaking journey for 5 years with my mom
Mm.
because this being that gave me life, and
Yeah.
and I felt that that was the right thing to do, and I felt that so many of us are on that precipice of job, caretaking, kids, work. There's no right answer also. I don't want to say that my decision was right. It was right for me. But
Mm-mm.
whatever you do, do it in its totality, in its fullness.
Yeah.
Like go fully into it. And
Yeah.
the biggest gift I got was sitting at my mom's bedside and laughing and crying and
Mm-hmm.
and hoisting her up and taking her to her favorite restaurant and 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 just because that was my gift of life to give to someone who gave me life.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yeah. Thank you so
yeah,
much for sharing that. And yeah, I think you're right. Women, especially, but anyone in midlife, but we're going to talk about women because we're women. Women in midlife are juggling a lot. We mentioned, perimenopause, so hormonal shifts and changes, and then, careers that may be at the pinnacle or peak or even expansion or
right.
shifting careers into entrepreneurship, kids, family. And then there is this piece of caring for our aging parents or, any elders that, again, also we weren't really prepared for that or shown a way, and things have
No.
shifted in our culture again, where we're not in tribal communities where the village is holding that. And so people are, again, no judgment with the assisted care living and whatever decisions people make, but I'm in a similar path that you went through of I'm caring for my mom with dementia.
Mhm.
And um I mean, it's my sacred duty. It's
Yeah.
like, but like you said, it's this gift. Like I view it as like the greatest gift on earth, like in the same way I view the birth of my children. Like I get to guide her through that transition. And Dawn, I literally feel as though every single thing I've done, every ISTA, every immersive container, every growth trajectory expansion is preparing me for this, for this
Yeah.
for guiding another human into that transition of the beyond.
There were so many times that I was so grateful that I was a sitter for, ayahuasca ceremonies and medicine ceremonies, that I sat through so many shamanic ceremonies and learned how to hold people, that I could be that eye of the storm, that presence, and know that this is part of life. This is part of life, and we are such a death phobic, fearful culture. And that's why women who are aging are cast aside, especially for younger and aging men. They
Yeah.
don't want to confront their own mortality and death and vitality. So we're cast out and and constantly looking to the youth, to get a new vibration of vitality. And there's nothing wrong with learning and getting juice from the youth, but this is a place where we're all headed, and to take care of a sick, dying family member is one of the holiest, most sacred works that I believe we can do on the planet.
Mm, mm.
And you have to feel if it's right for you.
Yeah.
And I love that because I've never talked with another human about how our work in our field has prepared us to take care and hold space and be in the multidimensionality of someone losing their cognizance and not holding that love space for someone
Yeah.
that we love so
Yeah.
deeply, and knowing that we need to stay present and we can't collapse into, you know, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
want to go, I'm going to go back to this,
Mhm.
but I want to pull through this point because you saw my jaw drop.
Yeah.
Older men who are going after younger women are clearly not confronting their fear of death.
Mhm.
Wow. You just named like the whole thread, whether you're going to relate it to pedophilia, Epstein files, just men in midlife in general, and why they're attracted to young women. They don't want to confront their own fear of death. Wow.
Welcome. Welcome.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like how I know the ways in which we support. I mean, this is something that I always like to share as a tantrika, is that we are experts in death. People view us as like, oh, you're these sacred sexuality practitioners and you're here to be in the erotic and help people have orgasms. And it's like, actually, I take people through death portals. I'm a death doula. And I'm laughing about it now, and then we'll go back to the other thread as sacred daughters. Yeah, I just feel like this is important to name as well, that humans are avoiding the real root fear. What's underneath a lot of our wounding is this fear of death.
Oh, there's so many feelings that are flooding me right now. I'm looking at the ways to go. So I was, after my mom passed, I was lying on the grass and sitting there, and my grandmother is buried on one side, Esther Sunshine, and that's her real name.
Esther Sunshine, of course.
And my mom, and something came through me, and I said, oh, this is where I'm going to be buried. And I had no idea until that moment. And I went into the office, and it wasn't even me giving the payment. And I said, is this space free? I want to know where I'm going to be buried. And whether it changes, and whether something, maybe I'll want to, sky burial, and there are a few places in the world.
Yeah.
But at that moment, and every month I'm paying it off, it felt very mature also, but also deeply restful and deeply confronting of my own mortality.
Yeah.
And it felt like a rest in my being. And from there, I remember meeting this beautiful, very spirited man. And we had a conversation, and I said, I just did this. And he, with tears, looked at me and he said, that is the most beautiful thing I've heard. And of course, spiritually, we
made love.
fell in love. Yeah. And it was like,
and then we made love.
And then, and I just felt so like that was the best response I could have had from this beautiful being. And, he was a bit younger but mature in his psyche and his spirit.
Yeah.
So returning back to what happens in that very tender place, because I really want to give it tenderness around the aging couple, because I journeyed together with the same age, same, time, kind of journeying at the same time through the same music, and we, my partner and I got to this point, and like, so I'll just speak in general terms, like in so many relationships, women are going through menopause, and it's becoming more painful, and it's becoming more difficult, and our focus then, is in perhaps in a different direction, because we're not all about creation and looking for the one who's going to impregnate us anymore. And we are looking in a different place. And then for men, sometimes their erection is also getting harder. Not harder, I'm sorry, but getting harder to maintain.
Yes.
And it's more difficult. Physiologically, it is more difficult. So it's natural that they dip into the younger and the ones who are moister also, and enlivening something. So I really want to have natural and compassion for that.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to wrong, but I do want to look at the what
Thank you
you
for
can.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
about shaming anyone, because I've really looked at this, because I've had it very personally
Yeah.
in my life, and I want to say that uh, yeah, look at what what can happen in really
Yeah.
growing older with someone, and the gifts
Yeah.
that you can
Yeah.
receive through that.
Yeah. And this is a huge emerging field in our
Hmm.
work.
Yeah.
That's why I also like paused and thank you for calling me into deeper presence because I made a statement
Yeah.
on the podcast, which I do so in a certain tone for marketing purposes.
Yeah.
We were speaking about this. God, that's going to be used as a clip and a short, and then people, it's a projection then. And the truth is, in sitting with you, and the truth that we know is that, we're helping to guide these individuals and couples through this very tender time. I'm working predominantly with individuals and couples in their midlife, and I'm going through it myself, right? So yes, it's this time that requires a deep level of compassion, and yeah, attunement as everything does, but this awareness too that we're carving out a new blueprint for this field because we're basically people are living longer and we're saying, I'm not going to accept this old paradigm of, oh, I have to stop having sex or yeah, it can't get hard anymore or it can't get wet, like and some people are choosing medical interventions to support with that. And again, no judgment in that. And some folks are finding individuals such as us to also help guide them through that, not just in the physicality of what can we do differently? Can we explore prostate? Can we, but also energetically and emotionally, what's preventing us from fully feeling? Because if one way stops working, we have to like carve out a new way of understanding how to cultivate intimacy and love and that sexual sensation that brings about
Yeah.
a deep sense of bliss.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so do take care of yourself, on if you need hormones, estrogen and progesterone and testosterone, but if it's psychological, if it's spiritual, if there's something in out of balance, there's not it's seek all of the modern wisdom, seek counsel, and really look at how can I support my integration. It's confronting to lose something you've known and the vitality, and there is a huge amount of experiences that are happening, like it's like puberty, but
Yes.
and to understand that this is a changing on a subtle level. So personally, I love being on the other end of, where I'm not in the bleeding phases and all of this, but I feel like I'm able to tap into subtle realms, and I'm not so emotionally led anymore, which is it's just a lot easier. It's a lot,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. And I heard
but
you
I'm still a very emotional,
yeah. And I heard you
volatile.
speak into, for the feminine, there's that that capacity to connect with the
Yeah.
transmission and then the articulation
Right.
via the voice and for men and for all of us, it's a journey through a grief portal. It's grieving the loss of something and yeah, this is something I've really deepened in my awareness of and working with men through midlife and beyond of the sadness and the grief connected with not being able to maintain an erection and or like make love to their wife in the way that they used
Yeah.
to and to
Yeah.
really hold them in that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's a deep part of my work. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so grateful you're doing it, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like the way you touch people. I can tell just by the way you talk about it.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're searching.
Yeah.
And this work of being a intimacy coach and really supporting people in the most intimate parts of their life is something to be honored and cherished
Mm.
and not vilified and not put down and seen as anything less than holy work. In my tradition, yeah, the holiness is kadosh and kadesha is the feminine of it. It's like being an intimacy mentor and supporting people in those journeys is in our ideal society needs to be honored and venerated and raised up and that reminded me, love, of the earlier when we were talking this morning
Mm.
of this idea of how to bring beauty and sacredness in a world that is perverse, in a world that doesn't see the innocence, and it's almost like, and this is where I get I can break out into tears in a moment, is the way that people have projected from their own wounding and their idea of what must be happening in my not necessarily my containers, but are the containers in my field. If they see, ooh, wow, this is tender.
Yeah.
They project their the movies, the stories of violence and rape and like the reason I came to this work, dear sacred humans, is to prevent less injury, to prevent less abuse, less stories of suffering,
Yeah.
and to bring humanity into a place where we can take more responsibility for our actions, more responsibility for who we are, and to bring sacredness to every moment, that we bring it to our intimacy and and in my relating with my my beautiful partner
Yeah.
Ohad that I
Yeah.
journeyed with for 23 years.
Mm.
The amounts of time that we have created sacred, holy zivug, holy lovemaking in service of healing, of humanity, I can't even count.
Yeah.
It's been so numerous.
I'm crying because like it's funny. It's gonna sound like a funny statement. Like I wouldn't be here today
Mhm.
if not for is it Zahud, the love making of you and
Zivug,
Ohad,
yeah.
Zivud, and like it's like no, my parents are Barbara and Michael, but like that's the reason I'm here. But the reason I'm here in this seat, the reason I'm a tantrika, the reason I preach about universal intimacy is because of Dawn and Ohad.
Thank you.
And thank you for mentioning his name and
Yeah.
And whoever's going to create stories or projections upon any of la's related to the field and the work, it does become emotional to us when we've been through it and we understand the totality of the experience and its connection to the sacred. And again, it's that the perversion of the sacred that then becomes distorted, that pains us so much on such a soul level. So I feel that from you, sister. And thank you for this illuminating perspective on my work as an intimacy coach to really be there for people in and through some of the hardest transitions of their life, right? it's not just about having epic sex. This is not about figuring out a new position or a technique. This is about actually supporting people through the most emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually trying moments of their life, which could be in dating, mating, and relating to a beloved. It could be in, losing a child. It could be in losing a parent. It could be in losing an erection. It could be in losing the capacity to have an orgasm. Like, these are really important things to what it means to be human. And it's such an honor that we get to hold people through that, and that you have shown me the way. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
How can folks find you, stay connected to you and your work?
There's one thing that I want to say, that sex isn't about sex. Sex is about longing for spirit and merging with the divine. So getting lost in sex is staying present to the potential of having divine, holy connection. So I had to say that before we go.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you, love.
Thank you for traversing all the realms to be here, travel the world.
Thank you.
It's been such an honor to have you. And yeah, I love you.
Thank you. Love you too.